Well, it's a very warm welcome back to second half independent off-tube studio commentary from the game at the Amex, where it is goalless between Brighton and Hove Albion and Fulham, but it was a decent game in the first half. There were spells for both teams. Brighton, for Fulham being the visitors, will probably be more pleased with how they played in the first 45, but in the last 15 minutes things got better for Brighton. They started to look a little bit better, and straight away they're on the attacking. Nice little bit of link-up play. Ruter leaving the ball here for Mitoma, trying to twist away from two Fulham players. He gets a ball into the box. Heavy touch there though from Matt O'Reilly, who then tries to win the ball back. He's either handballed it or he's bundled into his man. You take your pick, but whatever he's done, referee Sam Barrett isn't happy, so that will be a free kick to Fulham and a chance for them to clear their lines. But well, I think we saw enough in the first half to suggest that we should be seeing goals in the second. Hopefully we're going to see two sides who are going to try and go for it. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and Dale Rosso taking possession. Dale, Fulham probably happier of the two sides, but Brighton showing enough towards the end of the half, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the way it's shaping up. Fulham coming into the game, when they have the ball, they're doing so well, and of course they continue that in this game coming forward, especially in the second half as they pick the ball up once more, winning a foul. But of course Brighton, they're a side they've had more possession, and obviously that continues into the second half. They're only going to grow and evolve their attacks and how they're going to approach this game, but certainly a side that want to get goals, want to be fluid in their attack. Of course, losing players as well, not an issue for them as they're trying to come forward. Mitoma and Minte seem to be the key men in their attacks. Of course, Ruter through the middle, he's always going to be a target man, but Fulham with an opportunity here from a free kick.
Yeah, it is a good position as well. It's only about 7 or 8 yards from the edge of the area on the diagonal, so they've got right-footed option in Sasa Lukic and a left-footed option in Harry Wilson to try and get this ball into the box. I'll just run you through the 11s once we see this free kick out. There haven't been any changes for either side, but this is a good chance for Fulham early on in the second half. Plenty of pushing and shoving inside the box for referee Sam Barrett to keep an eye on as well. But is it going to be Lukic with the right or Wilson with the left? It is Lukic with the right. He's overhit that hugely. Goodness me. I mean, he's got 7 or 8 players to aim for inside the... I like the way that... I mean, he overhits it completely. He actually sails out for a throw before it even bounces. I mean, it's completely overhit. I like the way Anderson just sort of pointed at the 6-yard box, and that's where you want to put the ball, because that was poor from Lukic.
Yeah, very, very poor. I can't even fathom the idea of what he's trying to do. I don't think we saw what his idea was, because there was no one really even threatening in the back post. Everyone was almost bundled in the centre of the penalty area, and of course that's where you want to aim, cause the confusion in and around the box and hope one of your teammates can get on the end of it. But they've won the ball back relatively quickly and they're looking to attack again.
They're pushing down the left-hand side. It's with Iwobi now, finds the ball in towards King, and King tries to force that one into the near post, and there's a save there from the goalkeeper. I think a second touch coming off the Fulham man, and it's just out for a goal kick in the end. But some nervous moments there in front of the Brighton goal. So just to remind you very quickly, Bart Verbruggen in goal for Brighton, a back four of Max Wefer, Jan-Paul van Hecke, Lewis Dunk and Maxim de Kuyper. Two holder midfielders, Carlos Baliba and Yassin Ayari. The three ahead of them are Yakuba Minte, Matt O'Reilly and Kaoru Mitoma. Jorginho Ruter is the front man for Fulham. Bernd Leno in goal. Back four of Kenny Tete, Joachim Anderson, Calvin Bassey and George Cuenca. In fact, Bassey's on the left and Cuenca is in the middle. The two holder midfielders are Sander Bjerg and Sasa Lukic. The three ahead of them, Harry Wilson, Josh King and Alex Iwobi. Raul Jimenez is the front man. And just as I was saying that, Brighton restarted playing. They've lost the ball in midfield, and here comes Fulham again. It's down the right hand side. Lukic playing it back towards Anderson. Square to Cuenca, being closed down by O'Reilly. Over towards Bassey on the left hand side. Now it's Iwobi. Two of them really did link up very well in the first half, but Iwobi under real pressure there from Weif, having to play it back towards Cuenca. There's pressing here now from O'Reilly and from Ruter. You can tell that Brighton have been told to not let Fulham have as much freedom as they did in the first half, but now it's a flick on down the right hand side, and Wilson go for it from an offside position. He might have done, but it doesn't really matter. It goes out for a throw to Brighton anyway.
Yeah, it was almost like he was caught between two minds there. Harry Wilson.
I mean, Van Hecke there immediately, De Kuyper I should say, was immediately trying to take a free kick because he thought, like you, that it was an offside. But the referee and the linesman, in fact, correcting him that it's only a throw. Not many goals in the Championship at all. I won't run through the 0-0s because there's plenty of them, but it's Preston 1, Leicester 0. It's now Sheffield Wednesday 0, Stoke 2, and it's Watford 2, QPR 1. They're the only games in the Championship in the 3 o'clocks that have actually seen goals. And in the Premier League, it's still goalless here. It's still goalless at the Stadium of Light between Sunderland and West Ham, and just the one goal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium where Spurs are leading against Burnley by a goal. And it was also goalless in the early Premier League game this afternoon, where Villa, who finished with 10 men, drew 0-0 with Newcastle. And now the ball's been put out for a throw. Iwobi, in the meantime, is just checking his right shoulder. What's happened here? As he's gone for the ball, he's just been... Oh, that's a nasty one. Just a little bit of a push there from Minte. He's lost his balance and landed awkwardly on his shoulder on the running track just off the stadium. Just off the pitch, I should say. Yeah,
it certainly doesn't look like a comfortable one for Iwobi, but he's up and running, and he's not checking his shoulder anymore, so maybe just more of a bruised shoulder and more of the impact that did the damage. Doesn't seem to have, thank God, torn any ligaments or dislocated anything. He's back up and running around as Brighton play the ball in their own half.
They do, and it's just a short bit of possession here for Brighton, deep inside their own half. Not too much pressing from Fulham at the edge of the Brighton penalty area, but as soon as they get near the halfway line, there are plenty of light green or fluorescent green shirts here in this Fulham away kit trying to win the ball back. Now a long ball down the right hand side. Minte plays it on towards O'Reilly. Back towards Minte. He can't keep it in play though. Out for a throw to Fulham down the left hand side. It's Calvin Bassey waiting to restart play. So far, no options for the short throw. Lukic, Bieg moved a little bit further away. There's also the option to play it back to Cuenca. In the end, he tries the ball up towards Jimenez, who then plays it back to Bassi. Deflects off O'Reilly, out for another throw. A couple of quick goals in the Championship. Tell you about Blackburn have just taken the lead against Birmingham, and Millwall are a goal down at home to Middlesbrough. Change anywhere else in terms of the Championship or indeed the Premier League. And just to remind you, Wolves against Man City is the late game this evening, and 3 games on our service from the Premier League tomorrow. Chelsea against Palace and Nottingham Forest against Brentford. They're the 2 p.m. kickoffs, with Man United Arsenal at 4:30. Just shows how Man United have sort of dropped over the last few years, because really, if you go back, say, 10 years, that's a game that would never be played on the first weekend of the season, because those two sides would be seen as competing for the very top.
Yeah, it's certainly not been great for Manchester United as of recent years. I mean, of course, over a decade now since their last Premier League title. Of course, finishing last season so poorly, it obviously led to a game like this on the opening day. But I'm sure from a viewer's perspective, that's not a bad thing.
No, it'll be an exciting game. And as I say, United have got those 2 new strikers as well in Cunha and Bumo Sesko as well, of course, now over the line. So it's going to be interesting just how United get on this season. But back here at the Amex, there was a moment of attacking possession for Brighton before they've now been forced back towards the halfway line again. And it is the Seagull still in possession though. It's with Lewis Dunk now. He's down the left here. That's a lovely ball from De Kuyper through the middle. And here's Ruter now charging into the box. And he gets pushed over. The referee is going to point to the spot. It's going to be a penalty kick for Brighton on 53 minutes. And there's a look of frustration there from Sander Bjerg. The referee is immediately pointing to his earpiece as if to say, yeah, well, we'll check it. But if there's enough of a push and not enough of an attempt to play the ball, I don't see why VAR should reverse this one.
No, on live viewing, it certainly looked like there was enough contact. He's gone across his man, a tangle of the legs, doesn't get any of the ball. Jorginho Rutter, of course, goes down. Because of it all, I don't think Bears can have much to say against that. He certainly took his man down. Didn't get any of the ball.
And it's inside the box. I thought initially there might have been the slightest first nick, might have been just outside the box, but it isn't. All of the contact is inside the penalty area. So as far as I'm concerned, VAR will just do a courtesy of checking it, just like they always do with any big decision. But I can't see any reason why this one would be reversed. And just looking to see who the penalty kick taker is going to be. Is that going to be Ayari waiting to take this one? Looks like it might be, or it may be that they're just holding. He's just holding it. That seems to be a tactic that teams have used in recent years, where one player takes the ball just to take the pressure off and then leaves it for another one. Exactly the same's happened here. Ayari now leaves the ball, and it's going to be Matt O'Reilly with the left foot to try and give Brighton the lead here early on in the second half. And the VAR has checked everything now. The referee is doing his housekeeping just outside the box to make sure everybody's behind the lines. So it is going to be a penalty, and O'Reilly has scored 4 out of his last 5. The one that was saved was to the goalkeeper's left, low down. So we'll see where the Danish international wants to put this one. He steps up. He sends the keeper the other way. In fact, Leno does go that way as well, but it's a confident penalty low into the corner. And on 55 minutes now, Brighton and Hove Albion lead against Fulham by a 0-0.
Yes, and it's a composed finish there from O'Reilly. Slow walk up. Didn't take a long run up to the ball. And like I said, it was almost a walk up to the ball. but it's a strong, powerful shot into the bottom left corner, the keeper's bottom right. Nothing Bernd Leno could do about it because it's so far into the corner. He guessed right, but it's just so far into that corner that Bernd Leno can't do anything about it. It gets so close, but yet so far. Of course, Matt O'Reilly wheeling away in celebration. Brighton Hove Albion 1, Fulham 0.
And how do Fulham respond now, having conceded that goal early on in the second half? They were already having good moments, long spells in the first half. Had a couple of decent moments in the first few minutes of this second half as well, in fairness. But now it's Matt O'Reilly getting his first goal of the season, Brighton's first goal of the season. The question now is, how do Fulham respond, or do Brighton kick on and try and fight for their second goal? We'll see, as the long ball is now played out towards the left-hand side. Bassi jumping and heading that one. Slightly awkward bounce there for Baliba to deal with. And in fairness, good work there from Verbruggen to get anything on that one, but it's out for a throw to Fulham in actually quite a decent position now. Yes,
Fulham on the left-hand side, looking to create something here. Potential long throw from Bassi. He's come up to take it. He's played it backwards. I'm sure plenty of the green shirts will hang up in the box and staying around, looking to create something, but not too many opportunities for them to pass the ball.
No, as the ball goes down. Well, now Fulham want a free kick at the edge of the area, either a free kick or a corner. Harry Wilson looks very upset that the referee hasn't given him either of those, but it's just out for a goal kick to Brighton. Marco Silva. And we know that he's a manager who rarely looks happy, even when his team are playing well. He's got more of a sort of serious expression. That's certainly not a criticism of him, but he'll be very frustrated now, as Fabian Hertzler, another one who's got a bit more of a poker face really, but his side have got some work to do now, because a long clearance from the keeper bounces straight back in towards the Brighton penalty area. Verbruggen doesn't want to go for that one. He tells De Kuyper to deal with it, and De Kuyper does. Plays it out into midfield where Ayari gets brought down and draws the foul. Real frustration there from Tete and from Lukic. But that's something that Brighton can potentially try and play on now. Just try and hold on to the ball, maybe draw the fouls, because players like Lukic, like Tete, like Bjerg can get quite physical.
Yeah, they certainly can, but on this occasion I do have sympathy for them. There's no actual contact from... Obviously there is contact between the two players, but it's not like Lukic is pushing into the back of Ayari. He's just got between them, felt the contact, and of course gone down. That's the way things tend to go in the Premier League these days, and they're definitely winning the fouls, but I do have sympathy for the midfielder.
Yeah, he certainly, on another day, a different referee might have viewed that differently, but now Harry Wilson playing a slightly looping and risky ball back in towards his own half, and it's really well dealt with there by Bassi, and now a quick ball out from King towards the left-hand side, and here comes Alex Iwobi. He's getting towards the edge of the area, drops his shoulder, puts it onto his right foot, and he goes for goal as well. Why not? He's got a good strike on him, Alex Iwobi. Over the years, watching the Premier League, commentating on it, I mean, I think literally the only positions he's not played at centre-back and goalkeeper, he's pretty much played everywhere else. He is a forward, of course, by trade, and that was a decent strike, just rising a bit too much.
Yeah, always leaning back. The ball never looked like it was going to drop, so Bernd Leno could easily see that it was going over the bar, but certainly warning signs for Brighton that Iwobi's got that shot in his locker, and he's not afraid to take the chance.
No, and it's Fulham need to take a few more chances now. They are a goal down. Still plenty of time, of course, over half an hour to play in this game. So Fulham won't be panicking just yet. But, still no goals at the Stadium of Light between Sunderland and West Ham. Fascinating to see how the newly promoted sides are going to get on this season. He's seeing Burnley losing away to Spurs this afternoon. Sunderland the goalless. Leeds don't get their campaign underway until Monday night in a game, of course, that will be on our service. Leeds against Everton is an 8 o'clock kickoff on Monday night. Van Hecken now fouled inside his own penalty area, and the Dutchman just needs a moment here to pick himself up. He was just being tracked there by... Oh, that's a bit of potentially a bit of an elbow into the back there, but Van Hecken not happy. Neither is, of course, Raul Jimenez, because for all the good attacking effort we've mentioned about Fulham this afternoon, Raul Jimenez hasn't really had much service at all.
No, he hasn't. He's done his best to get involved and trying to drop deep and win the ball, and of course he's always harassing the defenders, but he's not had any clear opportunities. I don't think he's had a shot. Well, he had the shot earlier in the game, but other than that, I don't think he's had a decent shot on goal.
Ooh, that's a strong one there from Mitoma, right in front of the bench as well. Wilson is unhappy there, as the referee, I'm not even sure if the referee blew for a free kick there initially, but I think he has now, and it's going to be a yellow card here for Kaoru Mitoma as well. And initially there was an argument to say the ball was won, but I don't think he gets any of the ball, and he actually does get quite a lot of the man as well. We'll see from this replay here, Dale, but doesn't look good from Mitoma's point of view, I don't think.
It doesn't look good, and well, I don't know if he's had extra Weetabix this morning, Mitoma, but he's certainly more than happy to lunge into tackles today, as he's gone to ground for a second time in this game, and of course getting the yellow card for his troubles.
Second time in the game, and second time in the game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium that Richarlison has scored. It's now Spurs 2, Burnley 0, and it's the Brazilian Richarlison on the score sheet again. So no Son, of course, for Spurs this season. He's ended his long stay in North London. He's off to Los Angeles. He is in Los Angeles already. But Richarlison, who's had his struggles in front of goal for Spurs, starting this season very well. And here come Fulham now. Good run this from King. And now it's Iwobi on the overlap towards... and now Bassi hits the deck. And the referee points to the 6-yard box. It's always a bit deceptive, isn't it, when the referee... Because the symbol for a penalty and the symbol for a goal kick are pretty much the same thing, just pointing to a different spot in the box. Anything in that for you?
It's a difficult one. It's Bassi, sorry. Definitely gets across the man of Baleba, but the difference on this one is that Baleba actively chooses not to put a foot out. He still makes the contact, of course, they're so close to each other, but Baleba wise enough not to stick a leg out, and I think the referee's made the right decision there.
He has, and in the meantime we have no more goalless games in the 3 o'clock Premier Leagues because it's Elysia Mayenda that's given Sunderland a 1-0 lead against West Ham. That's a big goal potentially for the newly promoted Black Cats. But here come Brighton now into the penalty area. It's Mitoma trying to tee it up for Ayari. The ball is now cleared into midfield, and suddenly it's Fulham that are trying to get something started here with Josh King on the halfway line. He's a little bit isolated though, needs some support. He rolls it back towards Lukic. He goes square to Sander Bjerg, and now it's down the left-hand side. Nice bit of control there from Iwobi to keep that ball alive. He plays it into Jimenez, still outside the penalty area. Jimenez's pass further on is blocked here by Max Vafer, and out for a throw to Fulham down the left. Ayari's still down. He's holding his lower back there, the Swedish international. Wait and see exactly what's happened with him. But in the meantime, we're seeing a few Fulham players warming up. Just looking at the bench for Fulham, I think we just saw Rodrigo Muniz, the striker. He's warming up, but I think it'd be a bit harsh to take off Jimenez because he's not really had any opportunity to show anything up front. He's not really had much of the ball, but Fulham have the ball back here in midfield now. It's with Kenny Tete, who gets brought down there by Jorginho Rutter. Free kick to the visitors. Taken quickly there by Anderson. Now it's played down the left-hand side here for Iwobi. It's a bit of a foul there, I thought, on Josh King. Referee just says play on. He obviously didn't feel as there was anything wrong with that. It's back on the halfway line now with Anderson and Cuenca again. And Tete under pressure. Hasn't got anywhere to go with it, so has to roll it all the way back now towards his goalkeeper. More pressure here from Brighton, but Fulham do get the ball away. It's with Bassi now, down the left for Iwobi. Iwobi trying to take on Vafer for pace, but Iwobi's not as quick as he used to be, and Vafer's not actually that slow, so he's able to keep up with him. He gets the ball in the end, Max Vafer, and clears it up towards the halfway line. Cuenca is there sweeping up for Fulham. Into Lukic. Into Rutter, having to get rid of the ball here a little bit quicker there, Sasa Lukic. Now he finds Bassi. Over to Iwobi, left-hand edge of the penalty area. Iwobi dropping a shoulder, gets the ball into the box. It's King. He was back to goal. He was trying to tee up, and then King hits the deck inside the penalty area. Fulham with their arms aloft. 5 or 6 players there wanting a free kick, wanting a penalty for that foul. The referee isn't interested live, but we play on for the time being. It's with Harry Wilson now down the right-hand side. There's an overlap, but he decides to put it himself with the left foot. The ball then flicks off the head of Vafer and is out for a corner. We're going to see a replay now to see whether or not Fulham have an argument for a penalty.
Yeah, of course. Josh King collected the ball in the penalty area. His back was to goal, but that meant that he was also between the ball and the man. It's a difficult one. It looks like Ayari does get the ball. Oh, 1 second.
He gets the ball via the foot, though, doesn't he? Via the opposition player's foot. I mean, it doesn't look as though VAR's asked the referee to hold the game up, so they've obviously felt happy that there's not enough contact in there to give a penalty. It's one of those where if they gave it, we wouldn't be like saying, oh, it's a disgrace of a decision, and if they haven't given it, we're not saying that either. So it is one of those 50-50 ones, I think. But it's a corner to Fulham. It's an in-swinger from Szczerbakowicz, certainly a much better corner than we saw a free kick from a few minutes ago. Then a bouncing ball at the edge of the area is dealt with and cleared back into midfield. Ruter is chasing this one because Iwobi's there. Iwobi doesn't get there first, though, and now Ruter has a chance to play this ball through, and he does. And it's Mitoma getting towards the area. Mitoma still controls it, finds Mensah over the bar. It should be 2-0. I mean, it was a little bit scrappy from both teams, really. Fulham should have done better in dealing with the ball on the halfway line. Then I thought that Brighton could have done better with it. Mitoma wasn't quite sure what to do with it once it got into the box. But when it finds Minte on his left foot, he's got to score. Yeah, the ball played through into Kaoru Mitoma. I thought his first touch was just behind him. Not a great touch, but he still kept the ball. Did well to shift it onto his right foot and actually into the path of Minte. It bounces up. It sets himself up perfectly for Minte. If he gets his connection right, it's almost a guaranteed goal. Of course, Leno, he's rushing out to try and collect it, so he can only react so much. If he gets it on target, I think it's a really, really big opportunity. Should have been 2-0 there, really, but a triple change now. Jimenez, Berg and Iwobi going off for Fulham, and it's Muniz, Kearney and Adama Traore coming on to replace them. So pretty much like for likes all over the pitch there, really. Tom Kearney, the veteran of this Fulham side now. He'll go into that central midfield role where Sander Berg was. Rodrigo Muniz going straight into the attack instead of Raul Jimenez, who doesn't look at all happy now that he's gone off the field. And an injection of pace and even more strength on the left now for Fulham, of course, with Adama Traore replacing Alex Iwobi. Yeah, good substitutions for Fulham, I think. As you said earlier, it's not fair to judge Jimenez on the half that he's had because he hasn't had much service. But I also think the type of player that Muniz is he's much more comfortable dropping deep, picking the ball up and carrying it than that of Raul Jimenez, not relying on service as much. And I think the way the game's set up, it just doesn't favour Jimenez as much as it does favour Muniz. No, and I think, as I say, they've tried long enough, I think, with Jimenez. It's just a case of getting a different option. Muniz, as you say, a slightly different proposition in terms of the kind of a forward player he is. But it gives Fulham more options if they can get that ball to stick a little bit further up the field. A third goal for Spurs. They're going to get a win on their opening day of the new Premier League season. Opening weekend, I should say. Opening evening, I suppose, was yesterday. But Richarlison with 2 goals. And now Brennan Johnson, who actually was wanted by Thomas Frank when he was still Brentford manager. But now playing for him at Spurs, of course, making it 3-0. So a comfortable win there for Spurs, it looks like, on opening day. And it's just a 2 goalless games, I should say, in the Championship now, with Blackburn leading against Birmingham. Bristol City are goalless with Charlton. It's Millwall 0, Middlesbrough 2. It's now Preston 1, Leicester 1. It's Sheffield Wednesday 0, Stoke 2. Swansea 0-0 with Sheffield United, and Watford lead QPR by 2-1. Now we're going to see a change here for Fulham. It's Carlos Baleba going off. A lot of talk that he still may be on the wanted list of a couple of clubs, but he's getting a decent round of applause here. So Baleba is off. We can also see it's going to be a double change here for Brighton, I think, because we saw Danny Welbeck getting ready. I can't believe Welbeck will be coming on to replace Baleba. And indeed he is, and it's going to be 2 changes here. In fact, it's going to be a triple change. It's Baleba, Ruter and Minte going off. And we'll see who's going to be coming on. We mentioned we're going to see Gomez, Welbeck and Kaidoglu coming on. Yes, Kaidoglu coming on as well. Gomez and Welbeck obviously coming on to shore up the attack. Kaidoglu is a player who can play virtually anywhere around the edge of the pitch. He's played left back, right back, obviously left wing and right wing in his time. So it'll be interesting to see where on the pitch he's coming on to. I expect he's replaced Minte, I think, on the right, with Gomez potentially playing in the middle alongside Ayari now. We'll wait and see whether or not that's exactly how it plays out. But that is one option here, I think, for Fabian Hürzeler. Right now his side have got some defending to do because the long ball is played up towards Josh King. But Donk will get there first. Good work, though, from Rodrigo Muniz, closing down the goalkeeper of Verbruggen. But in the end, that closing down just deflects the ball out for a goal kick to Brighton anyway. Yes, Brighton, I think, fortunate to get away with that one there. That it didn't go the other way and concede a corner. But Fulham certainly trying to build their momentum, trying to almost get back into this game and
push on to get the 3 points. Every side wants to start with 3 points, and I think both teams coming into this game would have believed that they could be the team to win. And I think it's unfortunate for Fulham at this stage of the game that they conceded the penalty kick, and that's the current difference in the game. But I think on multiple occasions they could have also gone one goal ahead prior to the penalty kick.
They've had some chances as well, Fulham, for sure, and they've even had a few chances since then as well. But in the meantime, though, we've gone past the 3-quarter mark in the game. It is now 70 minutes gone. It's Brighton 1, Fulham 0, and it will be Dale to take us through to full time.
And Brighton playing it along in their own half, trying to play around the Fulham press. And of course, Fulham in the first half, very reluctant to press, still reluctant to press, but a bit more movement from the Fulham side as Kearney comes to collect the ball, gets a pull on the back of his shirt from a yellow-carded Kaoru Mitoma, and wins inside a free kick. I think Mitoma's lucky there that I think it's one of those situations where if he does that and he's not on a yellow card, he's definitely being given one. But if he's done it on a yellow card as he has, he's not being given a second one anyway. As Fulham tried to take the free kick quickly, but the referee pulls it back, saying he hadn't blown his whistle. Just getting a replay there of the free kick given. It's the feet of the keeper just standing on Kearney's feet, just stood going into the top of the boot. It's a clear free kick as Fulham get the game back underway. Out to the left hand side with Traore. A step over as he shifts it. He's up against Kadioglu, but the strength of Traore is too much for the fullback as the ball bobbles around the midfield, eventually looking for someone to get it away, and Van Heck does just that. Into the midfield once more. O'Reilly does well to keep hold of the ball, plays it out towards Mitoma. He can't chase it though. Picked up by Fulham yet again, then played out to the left hand side with Traore. Faced up against Kadioglu as well as Vaifa. And Vaifa's the one who's sticking to him like glue. The ball comes into the box and cleared away by Van Heck, but only cleared up as opposed to away. It then falls to Tete, and once more to Kearney, and then to Anderson. Back out to the left hand side with Bassi, who plays what would have been a very simple pass to Adama Traore on the left hand side, but he gets it completely wrong. He
does, and it's disappointing from Bassi because he's had a really good game on that left hand side this afternoon, but just overhits that one and gives Brighton a freebie of possession.
Brighton looking for an opportunity to get out of their own half here, and Fulham trying to box them in as it's taken long, but it's a poor throw in the end as Fulham win the second ball and play it back towards Leno. And then once more to Anderson. Back to Leno, who eventually goes long and almost did exactly what Bassi did in putting it out for a throw-in on the far side. But Bassi does just that once more. This time, an actual miss-hit as opposed to a poor pass. But he's gone down holding his leg. And it might just be the substitute Ferdi Kadioglu. He's gone in late, and he's got a boot to the top of his... He's got a stud to the top of his boot, does Bassi. So Kadioglu certainly deservedly going into the box.
He does, yeah. I mean, it's not a good challenge that from Kadioglu. I think the referee was well within his rights to show him a yellow card for that. We can see Marco Silva furiously making some notes just on the touchline. He knows that there's less than 20 minutes now. His side have got to try and get back into this game.
Fulham trying to build momentum. In the past 10 or 15 minutes, it's been almost entirely Fulham with the ball. Little spells for Brighton, but Fulham certainly the side craving to get back into this game, looking for a goal. Just confirmation of the yellow card again for Kadioglu as Bert Leno takes the free kick, hoisted up to the right hand side. The header's won by Lewis Dunk, but the second ball won by Tete, and that seems like a reflex there from Tete that if he's not confident he's going to get the ball, he'll hook it all the way back to his goalkeeper, as he's done it yet again. A long ball from Leno, intercepted by Van Heck, but the second ball won by Kearney. Van Heck takes it off of him, plays it in towards Mitoma. Mitoma then to Ayari, and then out to the left hand side for Mitoma, but he can't collect. So Tete with the ball again. Back to Anderson. Fulham looking for some options here, but Brighton understand that they're 1-0 up. They don't have to overcommit. Just pick the ball up when they can, as they have just done right there with Vifer. Vifer's made an overlapping run and he's running in towards the box now. The sideline referee, I was just about to say, kept his flag down, but has in fact called an offside.
He has. It looked like he could have been offside there, Vifer, and the referees, the assistant referees obviously had the confirmation in the meantime as the Vifer has gone after the ball. We'll have a look here from this replay. Yes. Even without the lines, it's clear. Well, I wouldn't say it's clear because it wasn't like glaringly offside, but he was just leaning a little bit too far forward. Free kick to Fulham. They just need to try and get this ball further up the field. That's a good little turn there from King to try and get the attack started.
Yes, King carrying the ball. Plenty of space in front of him to run into. Decides to play the pass up the right-hand side for Wilson. Wilson puts the ball into the box, but deflected off of De Cooper into the hands, the safe hands of Verbruggen.
Easy save that in the end for Verbruggen, as you say, after that little nick off his own teammate. Just straighten the ball out enough for him to be able to control it easily. Here come Brighton at the other end.
Matoma on the ball. He's got space to run into. He's faced up by Anderson. Now doubled up with Tete. The ball pass, though, from the Japanese international into the midfield. But it's picked up and recovered well by Gomez. Out to the right-hand side now for Kadioglu. Looking for options. Played back once more. On the edge of the box, a shot comes in and it's a big save and it's bounced over the goalkeeper there, Bernd Leno, and I think he's very, very fortunate that the shot from Gomez, he almost pads it down into the ground. The spin of the ball bounces over Bernd Leno, and I think he's fortunate it doesn't bounce more into the goal.
It's never over the line, but he's got to do better there, Bernd Leno. I mean, if you were watching youth football and a goalkeeper had a shot at him like that and he let it go over his body, having made a save, you'd be saying, well, the keeper needs to do better there. So, multiple international Bernd Leno and, so many Premier League games under his belt, he's got to do better. And as you say, he was very lucky that one just didn't ricochet a little bit further away from him and actually crossed the line.
Anderson with the ball in his own box. A long ball into the midfield area. Picked up by King. And then he's played it high and wide up the left-hand side. Certainly testing the pace of Adama Traore, but even he was 10 yards away from the ball. So a very, very poor pass there from Muniz, as he apologises to his team. And Emile Smith-Rowe looks like he'll be making his way onto the pitch. Get confirmation of who he's replacing. It is the 18-year-old Joshua King. I think he's had a great game today, but certainly not having the influence that he would have liked to have. 2 claims for him that he could have gotten a penalty, none of them given by the referee, but certainly impressed today.
Yes, it was a good game from Josh King. I agree. He's had a very good performance. He's certainly given Marco Silva something to think about in terms of having him as part of a side where you consider him to be in your first 11. Although Smith-Rowe will have something to say about that, of course. But that's certainly a good performance from him. And now it's, it was half a chance there for Fulham, but they lose the ball and it's cleared up towards the halfway line.
Brighton trying to keep a hold of the ball, but unable to do that when Bassey's on the back of Gomez. And Fulham trying to play it out around the back. And that's another challenge, another rash challenge from the Brighton players. This time it looks like Gomez who went in harshly, as he didn't really have too much right to go into the ball, into the challenge like that. He does go through the side/back of Sasha Lukic. Comes away with a yellow card, does Gomez, but I think he's almost fortunate that it's only that there.
I think the referee would have decided that it was a yellow card, whether or not VAR had a quick glance at it to see whether there should be more. But it's not a good challenge at this stage of the game as well. And it puts extra pressure when he's come off the bench. And now he's got a yellow card to contend with for the rest of the match. 2 of the 3 Brighton substitutions now on a yellow card. The header from Dunk played back into Verbruggen, but it looked dangerous as Muniz was sniffing around trying to intercept the pass. Unable to do so. Fulham just approaching the last 10 minutes plus stoppage time of the game to get a goal and get themselves back into this tie, as Brighton play it around the back once more. Into Ayari. Once more to Van Heck. Van Heck looking for options in midfield. He finds his teammate Gomez. And then back to the defence. And Brighton almost just managing the game at this stage and not allowing Fulham to have much of the ball, because if they don't have the ball, they can't do anything with it. No, they can't. It's the best way of keeping an opposition side away from any kind of dangerous area in your half of the pitch, just keep the ball yourself. And we know that Brighton are a good side at doing that and playing without the ball as well. But right now with this 1-goal lead, they're keeping the ball well. A 1-goal lead is never really enough against any Premier League opposition, so they've got to try and think of a second. But for the time being, just happy to see the ball.
Lewis Dunk with the ball once more. Still in possession are Brighton as they play it back to Verbruggen. Back to Dunk and then into Mitoma. Once more to Gomez. Lovely pass and play between Gomez and Danny Welbeck, and that's the definition of the commentator's curse.
I mean, you barely even had time to finish that sentence and Gomez puts the ball at least 10 yards behind any teammate. And it is a shame because the build-up to that wasted pass was actually very good.
Yeah, lovely pass and play up until I said it. And the pass then was borderline atrocious from Gomez as Fulham take the throw in quickly. A 1-2 between Bassey and Kearney before it's poked out by O'Reilly. It seems like O'Reilly's drifted out to the right hand side slightly at times. Between himself, Kadioglu and Gomez, almost all three of them making up one right winger at times. Brighton still have the ball back in their own half now, however, with Van Heck, and then once more to Ayari, out to the right for Kadioglu as Brighton just pass the ball around. And the lack of press from Fulham is certainly worrying, especially at this stage of the game. 80 minutes in, they're still not willing to commit any number of bodies to a press to try and win the ball back. But when you've got less than 10 minutes of the original 90 left in the game, it's one thing for me to say that in the 30th minute, another thing for me to say it in the 81st.
Yeah, well, it's now or never really, isn't it? If they're going to do that, then they've got to try and actually get into a mindset where they're not just protecting a 1-0 defeat, but actually trying to get back into the game and at the very least to fight for an equaliser.
As Brighton try and keep the ball from going off the pitch, they do so successfully. Back to Van Heck and then to Lewis Dunk. A little bit of a press now from Harry Wilson. He's joined by Muniz as well as Traore, but unable to win the ball. Unsuccessful in their efforts as Kadioglu plays it up the right hand side looking for O'Reilly. As I said, they're almost making up one right winger between the two of them, but the pass was a poor one and Fulham have possession yet again, just in the halfway mark of their own half before playing it back towards their captain Bernd Leno. Out to the left hand side for Cuenca back to Sasa Lukic, who's going to carry the ball on his own for a little while before playing it out to the right hand side for Tete. Then once more to Traore. Clearly a change in where people are. Traore back on his favoured right hand side with Emile Smith-Rowe almost taking up the left wing position for Fulham. So maybe a change in formation, maybe just a change in system. Either way, Adama Traore back on his right side.
Yeah, Traore back on the right side. I mean, it's not beyond the realms that Harry Wilson can play at number 10 with Smith-Rowe out on the left, even though Harry Wilson is left-footed. He doesn't like playing on the left-hand side himself, does he? So we're going to get another change here now, though, for Brighton, with Kaoru Mitoma on that yellow card as well, going off, and Brian Gruder coming on to replace him.
I think it's a sensible change there from Brighton manager Fabian Hertler, not willing to risk the Japanese man. He's been on a yellow and he's shown that he's comfortable going into the challenges. Whether or not the challenges themselves have been comfortable, that's a different story.
Yes, absolutely. This is an interesting one, though, as Cuenca goes off to be replaced by Timothy Castagna. So potentially Fulham are looking just to have an extra wide player out there who can try and get further forward and maybe help out in attack.
Certainly decent changes for both sides. Fresh legs as well as potential system changes.
Unless what they're going to try and do here now, looking at the way that they've set up, it may well be that they're actually going to ask Bassey to play centre-back for these last few minutes and give Castagna the run of one side with Tete on the other. That's also another option. But all of this is irrelevant if Fulham can't actually get the attacking possession. They do actually win it back here now, and here is a Smith-Rowe overhit pass and a couple of yards behind where Traore was.
Yeah, it was a quick pass into Smith-Rowe from Wilson. It was a decent pass with decent pace, so he's tried to play it first time into Traore, but he's got it completely wrong, and of course he is left-footed. So
he is, yeah, there's an overhit one. But meanwhile, it's 2-0 now, Sunderland against West Ham, and it's Dan Ballard who scored that fantastic header that got Sunderland into the playoff final. He's now scored on opening day for Sunderland in their Premier League campaign, so they're 2-0 up against West Ham. And there'll be pressure on Graham Potter because West Ham didn't sort of have the new manager bounce under Potter last season. So they need to be getting that now, really.
Certainly do. They need an uptick in how they approach their games. And, of course, it's never a good sign if you're losing to the newly promoted sides, especially not on the first day of the season, as Brighton have a free kick in their own box. And former Liverpool player, former Manchester City player, James Milner, looks like he's readying himself up to make his way onto the pitch. He can play virtually anywhere, so looking to secure the defence and hold on to this 1-0 lead with that substitution.
Well, it's scary seeing James Milner still playing in the Premier League, only because I remember I was in high school when James Milner made his Premier League debut, and goodness knows I was in high school a long time ago. So it really is a fantastically long career from Milner. Been a sort of squad player really at Brighton since he's come here, but coming on in these last few minutes just to try and shore up a central midfield where Brighton are leading on opening day. It's the sort of ideal spot really for James Milner.
Of course, and James Milner also pressing for the overall most appearances in the Premier League. Of course, currently held by Gareth Barry. As it's up on the right hand side with Brighton, a ball comes into the box, cleared away by Anderson, behind for a Brighton corner.
Yeah, chance here now for Brighton to maintain this little bit of attacking pressure. And the important thing for them, of course, is that the more time they spend in front of Fulham's goal, the less time Fulham will be able to spend in front of the Brighton goal. And it's important there for her to the side just to make sure they can see out these last few minutes. It's the 6th corner kick of the game, and Brighton have had 4 of them to Fulham's 2.
And Brighton looking to put the game to bed with this corner. Plenty of aerial threat for Brighton. As the ball comes into the box, it's towards the back post. The header's won by Lewis Dunk, but it's into the side netting. He's going to think he could have done better with that. He's currently holding his chest as he's fallen down onto the ground, but it's a lovely delivery. Kevin in towards the back post. He wins the header well. Bent Leno's there on the near post, of course. I think he has it covered, but still a wonderful opportunity for the Brighton captain.
Good opportunity here, absolutely, and he does well to rise. Leno, as you say, sort of falling into the goal himself with his arm across by that post. So you'd like to think if it was going on target, Leno should be making the save, but it's a good opportunity nonetheless, and it's more time that Fulham can't attack Brighton.
And James Milner will make his way onto the pitch, and we'll get confirmation of who he's replacing shortly.
So Riley was going to go off there for these last few minutes. No surprise really, there's no need for Brighton to have a number 10 on the field now. It's important for them just to see out the game. So James Milner on to replace Matt O'Reilly for the last 3 minutes before we hit injury time.
And James Milner with this substitution makes his 639th Premier League appearance. It means he's only 14 appearances of that all-time top record, so easily achievable in this season. Touch wood, no injuries for James Milner, as Fulham take their goal kick quickly, but they take it short again. We've seen this consistent attempt to play out from the back from Fulham, but almost every time Marco Silva's side has had to clear it long as opposed to actually build anything meaningful from this. But they'll still attempt it, even with just over 2 minutes left on the clock. Falls to Tom Kearney, out to the right hand side. Kenny Tete once more to Traore, and surprisingly enough, I've not seen any balls over the top to set Traore in behind, and for a player of his speed and stature, surely that's what you're looking to do.
Well, it's his main sort of skill is the pace and the strength that he has. If you don't give him any kind of passes, any kind of balls to get that going, then it's pointless really. And now there was a ball played out towards the right hand side, but it's about 10 yards away from Traore, maybe even more than that. So it's an easy one there in the end for goalkeeper for Bruggen, and time's ticking down here now.
Top speed of 32.6 kilometres per hour for Adama Traore, so he's clearly got the afterburners. Trying to feed him in behind is clearly the aim, but they're just not able to do it off Fulham. But they do win themselves a free kick in their own half yet again. I think it's just a consistent worry for Fulham that the majority of their possession has come from in their own half, and they've been pickpocketed here and through on the right hand side. A chance here for Gruder to try and poke it in back post, but he couldn't do so. It's actually fallen to Welbeck on that far post, and eventually Fulham will get it away. But really unfortunate for Fulham in this instance. They do still have a man down It looks like Tom Kearney in the centre of midfield. He was the one who had the ball taken off of him. It's not Tom Kearney, actually, because he's up playing the ball, but we'll get confirmation of the man who is down on the ground as Emile Smith-Rowe carries the ball forward on the left-hand side. 89.5 minutes played as we approach the 90th minute. I can't imagine there's too much added time in this game, so if Fulham want to get a goal and get an opportunity, they need to do it now. As Smith-Rowe plays the ball into Anderson, then to Kearney. Up on the left-hand side for Smith-Rowe. Then once more to Bassey. And they're looking for options of Fulham, but they can't break down this Brighton side. They've certainly packed it up defensively, have Brighton. And 6 minutes of added time will be added to this game. Plenty of time for Fulham to get an opportunity as the ball comes into the box, and Emile Smith-Rowe can't quite get the header right, and Gruder will come away with the ball as he sprints up the right hand side, faced up against Kearney, shifts onto his left, played in once more to Gomez. Gomez can't keep a hold of the ball as it's cleared away by Bassey, and Lewis Dunk will collect in his own half. Out to Van Heck. Van Heck back to Verbruggen, and the urgency still hasn't come from Fulham yet. Still no real push to attack the ball when they don't have it, as Brighton come away with it once more in the Fulham half. A pass in behind looking for Gomez. Gomez with the strike, and it's a low strike far into the bottom corner, past Leno, but also past the far post.
Yeah, it's past the far post, but this will be a worry that really when Fulham are trying to still save something in this game, we're seeing more of an attack mind here from Brighton. Still got 5 minutes of injury time to play. There's potentially an offside there anyway, as that build up, and the fact that the flag had gone up, in fact, as that ball was being played across. But yeah, I mean, we could see there as Lukic had hit the deck earlier. It's been a frustrating afternoon for Fulham. They had a good spell in the first half, they've just not really been able to replicate that in any way in the second half.
There's a long ball over the top, tries to find Muniz. He's drifted onto the right hand side, played a pass into Smith-Rowe. He's taken a touch past Van Heck and brought down fairly, says the referee. Cleared back into the Fulham half, and the next 4 minutes surely will be defend for Brighton and Hove Albion, as Calvin Bassey has the ball once more. Out to Castagna, once more to Kearney, as Fulham and Marco Silva's side are trying to come forward. Then to Anderson, a long ball over the top. That's a good pass into the path of Smith-Rowe, looking for an option in the centre of the box. Ooh. Muniz goes down in the penalty area. The referee has said nothing of it, and then a free kick actually given the way of Brighton on the edge of the box. Castagna not happy with the decision of the referee.
Well, that, we can see Kearney there as well. I think he's the one actually getting the yellow card in the end for the challenge, but when he comes in, I mean, that is a yellow card for Tom Kearney. Doesn't change the fact that potentially there could still be a discussion over the penalty. VAR can check that now. Meanwhile, there's a third goal at the Stadium of Light, and it's Isidore. It's Wilson Isidore that makes it 3-0 now to Sunderland. So they're going to have a famous return to the Premier League this afternoon.
Certainly will. And the ball into the box, just looking at the penalty claim again. It's Ayari against Muniz.
Is he going to watch this, the referee? Is he going to go? No, he's not. He's just running back to the halfway line. Just the way they show the camera angle of the referee, it looked like he was running towards the touchline. But having seen a couple of replays of that, I don't think he needs to. We've still got 3 minutes of injury time to play, and Brighton still lead 1-0.
It's Brighton with the free kick, taken by Bart Verbruggen. High in the sky. The header's won by Anderson, and into the hands of Bernd Leno. He's been challenged by Brighton here, and he's dropped the ball. No free kick, says the referee, and Gomez with an opportunity. He shoots, but it's saved by Bernd Leno. The referee said that he challenged the goalkeeper fairly here. I'm a little unsure. We'll see a replay in just a moment, but Bernd Leno is convinced he was fouled there.
Well, we see this again. I mean, the ball is played up in the air. It's a strange kind of header from Anderson. Then, as Leno comes out to save it, I don't think there's a foul there on Leno, but maybe as that ball is played back, he's got to do better to catch it, though. He's had a bit of a strange one there and trying to go for that one the way he did, Leno.
Bernd Leno consistently in this game not looked confident, claiming the ball. He's done well palming it away, but on occasions he's been almost punished for it. Adama Traore up on the other side of the pitch now with the ball, laid off to Tete, back to Traore. Did he get back on side? The referee said he did. Ball into the box from Traore. Headers go up, and it's cleared away by Vifer. And cleared towards the corner flag, kept in by Sasa Lukic, played back once more to Smith Rowe, back to Bassi, just a minute and a half left on the clock. Smith Rowe with the ball into the box, cleared into the centre, and it's a chance for Tete, and he's put it blazed over the bar, and he's got his head in his hands questioning how did he miss it so wide.
And Marco Silva will be asking himself exactly the same question. This is such a good opportunity here down the left hand side. Smith Rowe into Castagna, right footer from the left hand side, a ball in. I mean, Tete's not a forward, but I don't care. He's a professional footballer. He does do shooting in training. He has got a decent shot on him, the Dutch international. And I mean, it's coming down from a height, it's coming down at pace, so I'm going to give him a little bit of leeway there, but I still want him to do better in that position.
Certainly needs to do better in those situations. Just trying to cushion it towards the goal, force the goalkeeper to make a decision. But on this occasion, Bruggen had nothing to do with it as it went into the stands. Fulham, less than 60 seconds left on the clock to get a goal in this game. They're coming forward along the left-hand side with Castagna. And then once more to Smith Rowe, trying to link up together, but it's put behind by Vaifa. Castagna takes the throw quickly into Lukic. Lukic steps across his man, no foul. Smith Rowe on the edge of the box, takes a shot, and it's low. It's curling into the far corner, doesn't quite get there. Not too sure if the keeper had to make a save.
I think he might get a deflection even before it reaches Verbruggen here, but this is much better from Smith Rowe. We've seen a couple of misplaced passes, but this is much better. Yeah, it takes a nick off Van Hecker actually before it goes out for a corner. Still a time now here with the corner from Wilson.
Delivered into the penalty area, headed on the back post, a shot, and it's gone in. Rodrigo Muniz, he's finished it in the bottom right corner. It's a lovely finish on the 96th minute, the cusp of the end of the game. He might just have rescued Fulham a point. Marco Silva, you said earlier, he's quite a serious man, but he's overjoyed there.
He is overjoyed there. Slightly unusual celebrations from Muniz. He's got thousands of Fulham fans in front of him, and he chose to sort of jump into the home end to sort of wave to the Fulham fans. So a couple of the Brighton fans didn't thank him for that. But that aside, it's a big, big moment this for Fulham. Over the 97 minutes, are they value for this equaliser? I would probably say that they are. They've had enough attacking possession to have actually got something out of this game. And Brighton will be very frustrated with the way they've defended or not defended this corner.
Yeah, the ball comes in, it's headed away by Lewis Dunk of all people. Doesn't get his header right, skims off the top of his head and then just falls on the back post to the one man you probably don't want it to fall to. We've seen Tete with a chance earlier. You can say it's alright for it to fall to him because he's not the greatest in those areas, but there is a man who is, the man who scored. Rodrigo Muniz starts the season with a goal.
He does. Big goal that for Muniz, big goal for Fulham. Can't imagine there's going to be much more in terms of added time, because the goal was pretty much scored bang on 6 minutes there. You can see Marco Silva is sort of celebrating but looking towards the home bench the entire time. So he obviously felt like he wanted to perhaps they celebrated a bit too much when that penalty was scored. But yeah, the referee's going to restart play for literally 30 seconds, if that, and then the game should be over.
Brighton to take kick-off once more, maybe almost a Hail Mary situation here. Back to Verbruggen, a long ball over the top. The header's won by Anderson, and the referee has blown the final whistle. It certainly was a Hail Mary at the end. Of course, Brighton went ahead after a penalty kick decision went their way. O'Reilly slotted it into the bottom left corner, and at the depth, Rodrigo Muniz, at the depth of a corner, rescuing a point for Marco Silva's side, which means at full time it's Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Fulham 1.